You think her silence is a sign that she's moved on, but in the world of high-stakes attraction, silence is rarely empty. Most men view a lack of communication as a lack of interest, but that is a surface-level interpretation of a much deeper psychological battle. Sometimes, silence is a fortress. Sometimes, it is a strategic retreat. Sometimes, it is a woman fighting a war between her emotional cravings and her need to maintain her dignity. If you are sitting there replaying the last few months, analyzing every word of your final conversation, or checking her social media status like you're looking for a heartbeat on a monitor, you are trapped in a cycle of reactive thinking. You keep telling yourself that if she truly missed you, she'd just reach out. But that assumes people act with transparency when they feel vulnerable. The reality is that the more someone cares, the more they tend to hide it when the relationship is in limbo. Today, we are going to look past the Disney version of relationships where everything is confessed in a rainstorm. We are going to look at the raw, often contradictory nature of female psychology when pride and attachment collide. We aren't talking about the basic signs you find on every other blog. We are going to look at the patterns of behavior that reveal an internal struggle she won't admit to. This is about understanding the reasoning ladder, moving from the misconception to the hard truth, identifying the root cause, and ultimately providing you with a reframe that restores your masculine frame. This is not a guide on how to manipulate her into coming back. This is a guide on how to get yourself back. Because the moment you value her opinion of you more than your own self-respect, you have already lost the game. The fundamental misconception that keeps men stuck is the belief that communication equals interest. You think that because she isn't texting, she isn't thinking about you. Here is the hard truth. A woman can miss the way you made her feel. She can miss the safety of your presence, and she can even be crying over your old photos, and she will still refuse to send a single message. Why? Because to her, reaching out feels like a surrender. In her mind, the person who reaches out first loses the leverage. She may be waiting to see if you have changed, or she might be testing to see if your life has completely collapsed without her. If she sees that you are still standing, still building, and still grounded, her attraction grows, but so does her fear of rejection. This creates a state of emotional conflict where she wants to move toward you but feels paralyzed by her own ego. This brings us to the first real sign, the low-stakes diagnostic. You won't get a "longing for you" text. You will get a message that seems completely irrelevant, almost annoying in its mundanity. She'll ask you for the name of a song you played once, or she'll tell you she saw a car that looked like yours. This is what we call an emotional bid. It's a low-risk probe designed to gather information without revealing her hand. She is throwing a pebble into a dark well just to hear how deep it goes. If you respond with a wall of text, if you become overly emotional, or if you try to drag her into a talk about the relationship, you have failed the diagnostic. You have shown her that you were just waiting for a reason to pour your heart out. A man who is focused on his mission doesn't have the time to overanalyze a "hey." He responds with polite brevity. He stays at the center of his own world. He understands that a pebble is not a bridge. The second sign is what I call active orbiting. This is when she remains a constant, silent presence in your digital life. She's the first to view your stories, she's liking the posts of your mutual friends, and she is making sure she is visible in the places you frequent. To the untrained eye, this looks like she's just living her life. To the psychological observer, this is a way to stay connected to your energy without the risk of actual interaction. She is keeping a foot in the door so it doesn't slam shut, but she isn't walking through it because that would require accountability. She wants the benefits of your masculine consistency, knowing you're still there, knowing you haven't replaced her yet, without having to provide any commitment in return. This is access without accountability. If you allow this to continue without setting boundaries, you become her emotional safety net. You are essentially providing her with the comfort she needs to eventually move on from you. You have to realize that your attention is a currency. Stop spending it on someone who only wants to window shop. The third sign is the relatability pivot. This is when she suddenly shifts her tone from cold or distant to nostalgic and vulnerable, but only in short bursts. She might bring up a shared memory or a private joke out of nowhere. This isn't an accident. It's a way to test if the emotional anchor she dropped in you is still holding. She wants to see if she can still trigger an emotional reaction in you. If she can make you nostalgic, she knows she still has power over your mood. This is often a form of emotional laundering. She is trying to get rid of her own feelings of guilt or loneliness by passing them on to you. She wants to feel okay about the breakup by ensuring you still view her in a positive, longing light. Now, let's look at the cost of misreading these signs. If you chase these signals, you lose your dignity. You become the man who begs for clarity from someone who benefits from your confusion. You stop working on your business, you stop hitting the gym with intensity, and you start living for the ping of a notification. This is the most unattractive state a man can be in. Women are not attracted to men who are easily swayed by breadcrumbs. They are attracted to the man who is a fixed point. A fixed point is a man whose values and mission do not change based on the emotional weather of the women in his life. The reframe you need is this: her missing you is not the goal. Your evolution is the goal. You have to stop being the detective and start being the director. If she reaches out with ambiguity, you meet it with absolute clarity. If she asks a meaningless question, give a short, meaningless answer and get back to work. Do not try to solve her. Do not try to be her therapist. If she wants to be in your life, she must bring respect and clarity. Anything less is just noise. Let's get into the tight sequence of what you need to do right now. First, you must kill the hope of a sign being a solution. A sign is just data. It is not a relationship. Second, you must practice radical detachment. The moment she enters your mind, you must channel that energy into something physical or productive. If you feel the urge to check her page, do 20 pull-ups instead. You need to rewire your brain to associate thoughts of her with self-improvement, not self-pity. Third, if she does reach out with a direct question or a bid, wait. Do not reply instantly. Not to play games, but because you should actually be too busy to reply instantly. When you do reply, keep it grounded. No emojis, no double texts, no questions about her life. You need to understand that the power in a relationship dynamic always belongs to the person who is most comfortable walking away. If you aren't comfortable walking away, you have no leverage. If you are constantly looking for secret signs that she misses you, it means you are still waiting for her to give you permission to feel good about yourself. This is outsourced self-worth, and it is a death sentence for your masculinity. You must reach a point where her missing you and her hating you feel exactly the same, because neither one affects your mission. The man who wins is the man who doesn't need to win. He is the man who stays calm in the storm. He understands that a woman's feelings are like the ocean. They ebb and flow. They are influenced by 1,000 external factors. But his self-respect is the shoreline. It doesn't move. When she sees that her pebbles aren't breaking your windows and her orbiting isn't pulling you off course, that is when the real shift happens. She realizes that you are no longer a toy she can pick up and put down at will. You have become a man of high demand and low accessibility. So, if you're watching this because you're looking for hope, I want to give you something better than hope. I want to give you a standard. Stop asking, "Does she miss me?" and start asking, "Is she worthy of my attention right now?" If she is acting with pride, if she is playing games, or if she is staying in the shadows, the answer is no. You are not a detective, and you are not a backup plan. You are the prize. Move like it. Build a life that is so compelling and so full of purpose that even if she never comes back, you still look in the mirror and see a man you respect. That is how you regain your frame. That is how you win. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel. Not because you owe me, but because you owe yourself a daily reminder of the truth. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and keep your center.